Hi everybody, this is Sam from Astrology. We're going to look at resilience in a Chinese astrological chart. And there's certain key, there's many ways to look at this, as there always are many ways to skin a cat and look at things when it comes to astrology. But there are some key things in particularly Bazi, Chinese astrology, that indicates resilience in a chart. What does it take to someone to go through really tough times, be able to pull themselves through and be able to get themselves out of disastrous situations or very difficult situations, very challenging situations? And we're going to look at what they call the commanding pillars in a Bazi chart, which are what they call the Phi Kong. So very, 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 very strong day pillars. And if you're born on one of these days, you're going to be pretty damn resilient. This is what the ancient Chinese used to use to pick a general to run an army or things like this. Martial artists can have these kind of things, very strong constitutions. You're just generally extremely, extremely tough. Now, there's 6 of these commanding pillars, and we can always see they sit on the dragon and the dog. And so people born on these days, like I said, extremely resilient, are highly motivated, can achieve a lot and can produce a lot, and can have the potential to master the physical realm because of all this earth in the branches, so to speak. So the ancient Chinese would make someone a leader born on these days. Now, so I've got, as usual, what I've just been doing is, so if people don't know their charts, I'm going to have in the links, I'm going to have the chart calculator there so you can have a look and find out if you're born on any of these days. But it's got to be in the day pillar. So if you have 3 of these commanding pillars in the year, month, and hour, it's not going to count as a strong constitution, so to speak. You need to have this born in the day you're born in. And that's really important to understand because it's just how it is with the day. The day pillar is important because that, like I said in the other Chinese Astro talks, that the day master is the pivotal point of the chart. So, having said that, there is a lot to look at when it comes to these. So, Phi Kong pillars, born on Phi Kong, when you're born on the day, it's good. Now, if you've got 2 Phi Kong pillars, say in the day and month pillar, that's auspicious. If you've got 3, say the day, month, or year pillar, or hour pillar, extremely auspicious. The ancient Chinese would look at this. And the ancient Chinese would say it's more favorable for men to be born on this day because women, in ancient Chinese, the gender roles were extremely kind of specific. Like the men went out and worked, the women were kind of the homemakers, this kind of thing, which would probably rattle everyone now. But it's just how it is. So they would consider men being born on these days more favorable because it's highly masculine. Whereas when women born on these days, they would consider them to be extremely strongly opinionated and difficult to handle, so to speak. I'm not going to go on a real rant about that, but that's just the ancient Chinese and how they looked at things. Also, another important factor to know. So if you're born on a Phi Kong day pillar, and it comes up in the year, because remember the stems and branches change each year, or in a luck cycle, it's an extremely auspicious time. I'll give an example of this in the gentleman I've just got to talk about here, who is born on the Yang Water Dragon, which is a Phi Kong pillar. This gentleman is Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn, who has written about a number of books on a lot of topics and gotten a lot of trouble for it, and ended up in a gulag camp and survived and wrote to talk about it. And speaking of resilience, you cannot get more bloody resilient than that. And it's pretty great because when I thought, oh, who am I going to pull in? Because I've done a number of charts. I wanted to do someone new and I've read quite a bit of his work. And I just really wanted to have a look at this because what's he born on? The Phi Kong Pillar Day. And this actually Phi Kong Pillar Day is interesting because I'm going to read something out of a book which my mentor has written. A great book on the 60 on all the characters from the sexagenary cycle. So that's 60 characters. And this Yang water dragon translates to the spirit and destiny turn into a book. And what was Solzhenitsyn? Well, he was a writer. And we can see by his chart, he's got the dragon and the rat with the partial water element combination, which makes him dominant water because his day master's water. And remember, the whole pivotal chart, the pivotal point of the chart comes around the day master, which is yang water. So it's reinforcing that water. So he's dominant water. And water in Chinese astrology has a very strong mercurial nature. It's not a feeling nature. It's all about wanting to move, wanting to connect, wanting to write, wanting to talk, wanting to teach. So, and what was he? He was a brilliant writer. And so the literal translation of this, which I found was interesting, is the spirit and destiny turn into a book, which refers to the person benefit from writing about history and tradition. And wow, what did he? This is like what he did write. He wrote that brilliant book, Warning to the West, warning people about Gulag and the signs and the warning signs where we can potentially end up in real trouble. So I think the world should be, if they haven't already, a lot of people picking up his books and reading them. But and it's speaking of this, right? When I mentioned, so if you're born on a Phi Kong pillar day and then another Phi Kong pillar comes up, it's interesting because when Solzhenitsyn won his Nobel Prize in 1970, it was year of the Yang Metal Dog, which is a Phi Kong year. So people born on Phi Kong days when Phi Kong years come up, it's very good. I would say even in chart synastry, right? And I've seen this before with guitarists both born on in bands born on Phi Kong days and the other guitarist born on a Phi Kong day. Really great relationship between the two. People ask me the question, oh yeah, my partners, they wanted me to look at charts and I've heard some people who've studied Chinese astrology, one's born on a Phi Kong pillar day and the other one is, or a business partner or something else, then they consider it's unfavorable because they're both strong. But it isn't, it's highly favorable, because these people gel and work extremely well together. So I just wanted to talk about this because I love this subject. So I could go on a whole rant about Solzhenitsyn's chart, Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn's chart, because he's an extremely interesting man and well worth reading his books for people who haven't, particularly his book called The Warning to the West. I think it should be on the bookshelf of everyone at home at the moment. And yeah, his chart is interesting. There's a lot of other things going on, but I wanted to mention this because, mind you, he's got the two horses and the rat, just to throw that in. He's got that lovebird combination, which gives you actually a very good reputation out into the public eye as well. The lovebird combination. And anyway, so for those who don't know, I'll put the links in to look at your chart and you can have a look and see if you've got one of these day pillars, Phi Kong day pillars in your chart. And yeah, have a look. It's interesting stuff. And if you do, you will have very, very good resilience, good leadership quality, and a potential to have... this is another thing actually I wanted to add, which I didn't mention. Women born on these days, even though the Chinese considered that back in the day inauspicious, is not the case. I think my modern take on that is that women born on these days, women need to produce something. Either a family, and women born on Phi Kong Pillars days can be extremely strong and able to produce. And also, but they can either produce a business, right? It doesn't have to be a family. So it's just about understanding your constitution and how to make the most out of the energies that that's in your blueprint, so to speak. So, and also I'd say for people who do have a lot of fire Kong pillars and not a lot of expression element, which is your output element. So that's the element that produces yourself. So Solzhenitsyn's yang water, water produces wood. If you're extremely strong and you don't have that, then you can be prone to internalization and holding in a lot of energy, and you can become more melancholy or depressed because you find you just don't have that outlet to express it. This is how things, when we look at Chinese astrology, we can look at things and how it affects the psyche, this kind of thing. But that's a whole subject for a different time. But I just wanted to share this with you guys for those interested in Bazi Chinese astrology. So I'll be coming back for more. So thanks for listening.